All the organisms need food to survive. But have you ever thought how we humans and even animals digest their food? What happens inside our body after eating? Welcome, Class 7. Today we embark on an exciting journey into the world of nutrition in animals. Have you ever wondered how animals stay healthy and energized? Just like us, animals need food to survive, grow, and thrive. In first chapter we have studied about nutrition in plants and its mode. Now let's study for nutrition in animals. Let us study modes by which animals take in food. Bees and hummingbirds suck the nectar of plants. Infants of human and many other animals feed on mother's milk. Snakes like the python swallow the animals they prey upon. Some aquatic animals filter tiny food particles floating nearby and feed upon them. Before studying about animals, let us first study about us, we humans. Do you know what happens to food inside our body? How do humans digest food? Humans' digestive system looks like this. Let us study it in detail. We all eat food through our mouth and chew it with teeth. What happens inside our mouth? Digestion begins in the mouth, where teeth chew food into smaller pieces, and saliva produced by salivary glands moistens food and contains enzymes that start breaking down carbohydrates. The process of taking food into the body is called ingestion. Inside the mouth, there is a space called the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity includes several important parts that help us eat and speak. Teeth. These are hard white structures in the mouth that help us chew food into smaller pieces. There are different types of teeth, like incisors for cutting food, canines for tearing food, and molars for grinding food. Some of you or your friends might have cavity in teeth. Do you know why our teeth get spoiled? Sweets are foods that are high in sugar, like candies, chocolates, cookies, and sugary drinks. When we eat sweets, the bacteria in our mouth feed on the sugar and produce acids. These acids can attack the hard outer layer of our teeth, called enamel. Next comes tongue. The tongue is a muscular organ that helps move food around in the mouth. It also helps us taste and swallow food. Salivary glands. These are glands in the mouth that produce saliva. Saliva is a watery fluid that helps moisten food, making it easier to swallow. It also contains enzymes that start breaking down food chemically. Once swallowed, food moves down the esophagus, a muscular tube connecting the throat to the stomach. The rhythmic contractions of muscles, peristalsis, push food downward. The food is now reached to stomach. The stomach is a thick-walled bag. The shape is like a flattened J, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. In the stomach, food mixes with gastric juices that contain hydrochloric acids and enzymes, which further break down food into a semi-liquid substance called chyme. The stomach lining is protected from these juices by mucus. The acid inside the stomach kills many bacteria that enter along with the food and makes the medium in the stomach acidic and helps the digestive juices to act. Key digestive juices break down the proteins into simpler substances. The liver, which is located at the top right-handed of the stomach, produces bile, which helps digest fats. Bile is stored in the gallbladder and released into the small intestine as needed. The pancreas, located behind the stomach, produces digestive enzymes and bicarbonate, which neutralizes stomach acid as chyme enters the small intestine. The pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and changes them into simpler forms. Let's study how food gets absorbed in small intestine. Inside the small intestine, there are tiny finger-like structures called villi, singular villus, and even smaller hair-like structures called microvilli on their surface. These structures increase the surface area of the small intestine a lot, making it easier to absorb nutrients. The absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body, where they are used to build complex substances, such as the proteins required by the body. This is called assimilation. Any remaining undigested food passes into the large intestine, where water is absorbed and waste products, feces, are formed. Feces are stored in the rectum until they are eliminated through the anus during defecation. The fecal matter is removed through the anus from time to time. This is called digestion. This is how food gets digested in humans' body. You might be feeling great after gaining knowledge. Now let's look about animals. You might have seen cows and other animals eating grass. Have you ever thought, how can they swallow and digest it? Cows, sheep, Deer can easily swallow grass and are called ruminants. They have a special stomach with 4 chambers. Let's look all 4 of them in detail. First chamber. Rumen. When a ruminant eats, food goes into the first chamber called the rumen. In the rumen, bacteria and other microorganisms help break down the tough plant material into smaller pieces. Here food helps in digestion of cellulose. Many animals, including humans, cannot digest cellulose. Chewing cud. After some time, the ruminant brings back a small portion of the food called cud from the rumen into its mouth. It chews the cud thoroughly to break it down even more. This chewing action helps the food get digested better because it makes the plant material easier for the stomach and intestines to process. Second chamber, reticulum. After the cud is thoroughly chewed, the ruminant swallows it again. The cud then goes into the second chamber called the reticulum. Here it gets mixed with more digestive juices and broken down further. Third and fourth chambers. The cud moves through the reticulum into the omasum, and then into the fourth chamber called the abomasum. In these chambers, enzymes and acids break down the food even more, extracting nutrients like proteins and sugars. Absorption and waste. The nutrients are absorbed through the walls of the intestines into the bloodstream and used by the animal for energy and growth. The leftover material that can't be digested, mostly fiber, moves into the intestines and eventually becomes waste, which the animal gets rid of as feces. This is how grass and other food gets digested in animal's body. Here we comes to the last topic of our chapter, that's amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism found in pond water. It has a cell membrane, a rounded, dense nucleus and many small bubble-like vacuoles in its cytoplasm. Amoeba moves and feeds by extending finger-like projections called pseudopodia. These pseudopodia are temporary extensions of the cell membrane and cytoplasm. Amoeba feeds on some microscopic organisms. When it senses food, it pushes out pseudopodia around the food particle and engulfs it. The food becomes trapped in a food vacuole. Digestive juices are secreted into the food vacuole. They act on the food and break it down into simpler substances. The undigested residue of the food is expelled outside by the vacuole. Here we end the chapter. Hope you enjoyed and had fun.